All right, welcome. Today, we're going to tackle a massive, and I mean massive, topic for any business out there: software modernization. It's all about taking those old, kind of clunky systems and turning them into the powerhouse engines you need to compete today. So let's just dive right in, shall we? So let me just ask you this straight up. Is your software, is it an asset or is it more like an anchor just weighing your business down? Are you dealing with slow performance, constant glitches, or maybe that little nagging feeling that your systems just aren't secure? If any of that sounds even a little familiar, well, you're definitely in the right place. Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. We're kicking things off with section one, the problem with old software. And this is important because before we can even talk about a solution, we've got to understand the real and often hidden costs of just sticking with what you've got. First things first, let's get on the same page. When we talk about legacy software, what do we actually mean? Well, here it is. It's not just that it's old, it's that it was built with tech that just isn't efficient or, even worse, isn't secure in the world we live in now. Honestly, you can think of it like trying to run your business on steam power in the age of electricity. It just doesn't work. And this brings us to a really big deal: security. Let's talk about the sheer scale of the threat here. Legacy systems, they're basically a gold mine for cyber attackers. And why is that? Well, it's because they often have these well-known vulnerabilities that, frankly, nobody is patching anymore. It's like having an old wooden door with a lock that literally everyone on the street knows how to pick. Hackers are actively looking for these easy ways in, and that makes your business a prime target. So sticking with outdated systems, it isn't just a tech problem. No, it's a huge business risk that could completely compromise your data and your reputation. And then, of course, there's the money. The cost to just keep these old systems up and running, it goes up every single year. It gets harder and harder to find people who even know how to work on them. Bug fixes take forever, and you end up pouring a huge chunk of your IT budget just into maintaining things instead of, actually innovating. So, what are the big warning signs, the red flags? Let's run through the key triggers here. Are you constantly battling performance issues? Does it feel like a struggle to integrate with modern tools? Maybe you've noticed your competitors are just moving faster, and you suspect it's because their tech is better. And here's a huge one: has your vendor completely ended support? If you're sitting there nodding your head to even a few of these, well, those alarm bells should be ringing pretty loudly. Okay, so let's shift gears. Moving into section two, we're going to see how this all builds. It's time to stop talking about the problems and start looking at the solution. Because software modernization isn't just about slapping a patch on something, it's a really strategic response to all that technical debt that's been piling up over the years. And here's the crucial point, right? The whole goal here is to take what you already have and completely transform it. It's about turning that liability, the thing that slows you down, into a powerful asset that actually fits with your business goals and, the modern world of technology. Okay, I get it. This all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work? Well, in section three, we're going to break down this big abstract idea of modernization into real concrete actions you can take. This right here, this comparison really gets to the heart of the architectural shift. See, most legacy systems are what we call monolithic. They're one giant tangled block of code. And if you want to change one tiny little part, you risk breaking the entire system. It's a nightmare, and development just grinds to a halt. The modern way to do it is with microservices. The application is broken up into a bunch of small, independent parts. So what does that mean? It means you can have one team updating the payment service while another team is improving the user login, all happening at the same time without messing anything else up. It's a fundamental shift from being rigid to being incredibly flexible. And the strategies themselves? They're pretty diverse. I mean, modernization could mean moving your whole infrastructure to the cloud to get better scalability. Or it could be a complete redesign of the user interface to make it, actually pleasant to use. It might also mean adopting practices like DevOps, which is just a fancy way of saying you get your development and operations teams to work together so you can release new stuff faster and more reliably. Okay, now for what's probably the most important part. Why on earth would you do all this? Section 4 is all about the payoff. Let's look at the real, tangible business impact, the return on this investment. And let's get right to it with some hard numbers. Modernization leads to a minimum reduction of 13% in operational costs. That's some serious savings on things like hardware, software licenses, and yeah, those super expensive maintenance contracts we talked about before. But wait, it's not just about saving money. It's also about making money.
By becoming more agile, more innovative, and more responsive to your customers, companies see a minimum of 14% annual revenue growth. It's pretty simple when you think about it. Better tech leads to better business.
So let's bring this all together. What do you get? You get improved performance and speed, a vastly better security posture, and of course, significant cost savings. But honestly, it's more than that. You gain the ability to scale as you grow and to easily integrate with new tools, which altogether gives you a huge competitive advantage in your market.
All right, so let's say you're on board. You're ready to take that next step. But where do you even begin? Well, our final section here is going to lay out a clear path, a structured journey to help take your organization into its digital future. Look, this isn't about taking a wild guess. It's a proven process. It all starts with step 1, advisory. That's where you figure out a vision for your tech that actually aligns with your business goals. Then comes step 2, discovery and assessment, where you do a deep dive into what you've got and create a real roadmap. Step 3 is transformation, where you adopt modern, flexible workflows like Agile. And then finally, step 4, modernization. That's the actual implementation. It's a clear, logical path from A to Z. And that brings us right here to our final slide, and really the ultimate question that this all leads to. When you actually weigh the growing risks and the soaring costs of sticking with legacy systems against the clear, proven benefits of modernizing, from saving money to actually growing your revenue, you really have to ask yourself, isn't it time to stop patching up the past and start building your future?